Hey, what's up, Jean-Paul?
What up, Fred?
Not
How you
much,
doing?
brother.
Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
Welcome.
Thank you. What can you tell me about the gym?
Man, this is my family's gym. It's been here since before I can remember, and it's where my journey started. It's an honor to have you kind of, where it all took place.
For me, this is an honor. I just want you to know that before we even start, and let's get ready to roll.
Thank
let's get
you,
ready
man.
to play, man.
Let's do it.
Thank
Let's
you
do
so
it.
much. Yeah. How did you start your day today?
Today,
Yeah.
I start my day every day with a cold plunge. That's my way of like waking up, getting that coffee before I actually go get some coffee. That leads into, my first training of the day, and that's what we're gonna do here.
Walk me through what we're gonna be doing today.
Yeah, so today we're basically just gonna touch a little bit of everything. So MMA is a combination of all the martial arts. So there's a lot of them, but the main ones are boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. So I specialize in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, something I've been doing since I was a little kid. It's my favorite martial art out of them all. So we're just gonna kind of piece everything together. And I hope that by the time you leave today, you have like a little bit of understanding of what it's like to do what I do every day. Let's just sort of warm up, get loose before we get into everything. Just some shadow box in the mirror,
Okay.
just a little flow. So 3 main punches, right? Our jab is the most important one, cross, and the hook here, just like that, right? So what I love about shadow boxing is like we can kind of just be free with it, move around, jab, cross, hook, put it together, just kind of have fun with it, Let's do it. Let's flow. Jab, cross, hook. We just build it like that. Jab, cross, hook. Just like that. Jab, cross, hook. Perfect.
You do this every single day.
Yeah, shadow boxing is kind of like the step 1, the little warm up, the jog before the long run, just to get the body kind of flowing and moving and getting the muscles ready for what we're gonna do. And
it takes time to build that momentum. I noticed you can't just start throwing the jab. It takes time to kind of understand the mechanisms of the body. One of the things that I admire about you is that you've been a leader since you were like a young kid. You were the guy waking up first in your house, training before going to school. I was never thinking about training in middle school or high school. You were training before going to school, so you were doing all these things. How does that help you in your career?
From a young age, it's important to like instill those habits, doing all the right things, waking up early, taking care of your body, also having a little sister, setting that example for her too. And believe it or not, now she almost works as hard as I do, sometimes even harder than me. So it goes to show that like, that being that role model and doing what I thought was right as a kid, paid off. This gym to me is home. I feel like growing up, I moved a lot. I went from one house to a different house, and this never changed. I'm grateful for my father for keeping it so authentic to what it is and to what I remember. But yeah, coming in here every time, I get to sort of just experience everything I experienced as a kid. There's so many memories here, so much hard work, so much blood, sweat, tears. Just like when I step into the cage and I know I've prepared myself, this place is filled with memories.
But with all this fighting and everything, is it important for you to stay balanced, or is that something, because now often I hear a lot of people say, man, F the balance, work, and get to that destination. What is it for you?
I think I can definitely agree that that's sort of, in this day and age, how people are approaching, their lives and their work and their professions is just go. That's easy. Going hard is easy for me. It's what I love to do. Pushing my body and my mind to the limits. So balance for me is actually a challenge. Doing less is actually difficult for me. And as I'm maturing and getting older in my career, I'm starting to realize the importance of the balance. I've learned in my career that I've done everything right. You know, I've checked all the boxes, you know, woken up early, train all day, eat right, sleep right, and you can do all of that and still go out there and lose, you know? And what it's taught me is that everything matters, but at the same time, nothing matters. That's kind of the importance of balance to me. Just as hard as I train, I need to recover the same. You know, I need to take time for my personal life, hanging out with friends, having connection like we're having right now. That's what completes you as a human, you know? And I think we get so focused, especially as fighters, how can I be the best fighter I can be? And, you know, people just automatically go, I need to train as hard as I can, run my body into the ground. I fight the best when I'm happy. And I've had fights where I'm too serious, too locked in, and I'm not enjoying it. So I think balance for me is finding a way to be happy in all aspects of my life.
Do you feel like you need to take a break from the life that you have, or where are you at right now?
I think what's unique about my journey is that fighting and martial arts, it was never a choice for me. You know, I didn't choose to do it. It was something that my dad said, hey, this is gonna be a part of his life. And, you know, at a young age, I resisted it a little bit, you know, because it was hard. You know, it was hard having to fight every single day. Now I think I've reached a point where I do it because I choose to do it and because I love to do it. And I'm grateful for the fact that I didn't have a choice in the beginning, but now it's what I love to do. And I wouldn't change it for the world.
How do you think a fighter should prepare for their first loss? Believing in yourself and going into a fight, and then somehow things didn't come out right, you used the wrong energy, something happened, now you got the loss. How do you deal with that? How do you come out of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, early on in my career growing up, I wasn't very used to losing. You know, I was undefeated for a very long time. And when I faced my first loss, it taught me more than any win ever did, you know? And as a fighter, you know, we identify with what we do so much, you know? Like, you know, when I'm walking around, people, they don't see Jean-Paul. They don't see, you know, what I do behind closed doors or what I like to do for fun. They see the fighter. You know, it's on my face, my ears, my face, it's who I am. They say you're only as good as your last fight. And there's some truth to that. And I think the most important thing is, yes, you know, there's always going to be outside factors, but staying true to what you are, you know, staying true to the dream and the goal and the vision, but also the day-to-day path. You know, win or lose, don't change, you know. If you win every single fight, you're on top of the world, still show up to training the next day. And I've always done that, win or lose.
How else do you think martial arts have helped you in your personal life?
Martial arts is everywhere. You know, it's a way of thinking with your mind, your body, your soul. It's a way that you approach life. You know, I think with Jiu-Jitsu, it's all about finding the path of least resistance. And I think when I go through my life, I don't even realize it, but I'm always thinking in Jiu-Jitsu. You know, I'm thinking, how can I accomplish this task in the most effortless way possible? You know, avoiding resistance, avoiding conflict, and using technique and my mind to get what I need to do.
So we're gonna spar a little bit, and Fred knows what he has to do. He has to get in, take me to the ground, and find a submission. I'm not gonna let him do it. All right? Let's go, Fred. So, hey, for the first minute, 2 minutes, we're fighting. It's real. It's real.
Fighting out of Hermosa Beach like my whole life, and I feel like since I've been brought up here, I know the community so well. I love to represent it when I fight. It gives me pride, it gives me joy to be, one of the only fighters specifically coming out of Hermosa Beach. When I'm home, when I'm here and I'm walking around and somebody recognizes me or, says something, it always puts a smile on my face, and it reminds me, this is why I'm so proud to fight out of Hermosa. It's beautiful.
I feel very proud because of that. It makes me feel like I know someone who's been putting in all the work.
In the journey of life, I think it's important to try new things and to put yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone. And I think, the last 5 years of my career, I experienced a lot of that, taking myself out of the small town, training in Europe, traveling to different gyms throughout Southern California. It was all sort of a part of my journey. And I feel like now that I've gained this experience, I can come back home and sort of hone all the skills that I've learned and go from there. But ultimately, there's just something about home that I love and that I want to represent. And there truly is no place on earth like where we live.
Why do you think it's important to go after something even if you fail?
I think that it's important to not hold on to the failure, not to hold on to the wins or the losses, because if you keep such a strong attachment to whether you win or lose, you're doing whatever you're doing for the wrong reasons. What I'm doing is I'm training martial arts every day. That's what makes me happy. That's what makes me grow. It gives me the ability to express the artistic side of me using my body and my techniques. And the wins and losses, that's just a supplement to everything. There's this saying that the man that loves to walk will walk further than the man that loves the destination. And I think that's very true in my life. I'm gonna walk this path my whole life. I know this in my heart and in my soul. And whatever comes on that path, I know that is meant to be, win or lose, and I think as long as you keep that, the future's gonna be bright for you. Today was a very special day, being able to give Fred a little sneak peek into what it's like to be a professional fighter and to kind of live a day in my life, training at my family's academy. I think my favorite part of it all was just seeing the smile on his face and seeing that he truly loves it. I see he has that fighting instinct and that passion for it. So, seeing him smile, seeing him, pick up the few things that I showed him, that's why I love to teach. I think what Fred's doing here is very similar to what my family has done with our academy, and taking the time to get to know everybody and having that sort of community feel, that feeling of when you walk in here, someone's gonna say hi to you, whether it's Fred, whether it's someone you know. Having that sort of community and that feeling, I think that's something that I have in my academy, and this has the same sort of vibe here. Being at Gitana, it's an awesome place. I've been taught that teaching is giving, and I think having the knowledge that I have over the years of my life that I've been training, it's almost a duty that I have to share that knowledge, and to see people receive it well and to be able to go about their day maybe knowing they can defend themselves, with martial arts or whatever, giving them a sense of confidence. I think that's what it's all about for me. When it comes to being a professional fighter and how we're viewed, one of my goals since I was young was to kind of be a beacon of change. My goal in representing mixed martial arts is to represent the light, to be the light. And I think that's something that's very hard to do. People don't like seeing that. They want to see that conflict, that trash talking. My goal in this sport is to be a beacon of light and to show that, that true martial artists, we still exist.